Y'all know what time it is. Come on. Do it with me now.
5, 4,
3, 2.
What is good, y'all? What is good, y'all? It is yours truly, Rick the Prince here, and you are watching Surface Town. Before we get into the business, all right, I forgot to acknowledge in my last video that your boy got a cut. We talked about mental health in my last video, so if y'all want to check that out, we had to get our mind right before we started back doing the album reviews and reactions and beneath the surface interviews, all that stuff. We had to get our mind right. So if y'all want to check out and see just everything that I was going through last year, check out that video. Janet just released her documentary. I'm gonna do a separate video on that, so make sure y'all subscribe so we can chat about that. Jan fam, J tribe, whatever. To celebrate her, I wanted to do something very special for my playlist, The Record Store. Yes, if you all don't know, I curate a weekly playlist on Spotify that has all types of artists, different genres, races, genders, all that stuff, all the good vibes. And a lot of those artists are artists that I've actually interviewed here on this channel. So you can definitely find some new music out with that. Links are in the description. Please like that playlist. I want to do something special. So I started this new thing called Icon of the Month, right? Where I'm gonna take an artist that paved the way for the artists we love today and kind of highlight some of, their catalog and some of my favorite moments from them. So I started it this year, and the first one is Miss Janet Jackson. Any excuse I have to talk about Janet Jackson, I will. I don't really feel like we give artists their flowers. There's so many artists, and I can't wait for y'all to like that playlist. So, because every month we're gonna have a different artist on top of all that other good music. It's just great vibes over here. I picked 4 records. Now, before we get into it, let me tell you, this was very, very difficult picking these 4 songs out of Janet Jackson's entire catalog. I picked 4 records. Now, we're gonna go through these records that are on the playlist this week, so make sure y'all check out that playlist. And I just wanted to talk about why I picked these records. Now, I picked these records not because they were #1 or because they were triple platinum or because they won a Grammy or any of those things. I picked these records because they highlight something special in Janet in different parts of her life. Like I said, it was hard just picking 4. Part of me believed Janet was at her purest in this form. It was right before her transition completely into the sex symbol. This was like the first look at Janet Jackson, the sex symbol, the music video, just flawless, minimalistic, yet the aesthetic. The Rhythm Nation era went from 1989 to 1991, I want to say. I believe she was the first artist ever to have a #1 in 3 calendar years from this era. I think The Weeknd just kind of achieved that. So that lets you know how iconic this era was. And I believe this was the 4th #1 off of this album. I know I said we weren't gonna mention I know I said we weren't gonna mention accolades, but I mean that's just impressive to me. I love the production, I love the lyrical content, I love her vocals, and if you all do not know, Jan fam knows this, but this was supposed to be a duet between Prince and Janet Jackson. I mean, did you hear what I just said? I love the fact that she did it by herself, even though this was supposed to be a duet. That's why she sung the first verse the way she did. It just showed, again, her versatility to be able to sing that way and then go and sing in the way she did in the second verse, and then the chant, love will never do without you. It's just a feel-good record. And when she performed this, when I went and seen her, it was just one of those records, like, it just makes you feel good. So I had to start off the playlist with this one. I had to pick a record from Damita Jo. I had to show Damita Jo its just due. Justice for Janet. Produced by Kanye West. This was back when Kanye was on his sampling I mean, Kanye West has always sampled, but this was his signature era of sampling. Also, I believe this record was co-wrote by Kanye and John Legend, correct me if I'm wrong. It has like a Motown throwback feel, which is also pretty dope and iconic because of the Jackson 5. So just this record is really iconic. Of course, the video with Jermaine Dupri and her just looking beautiful walking through the neighborhood, very minimalistic again, but yet showing a sexy and mature and yet youthful side of Janet Jackson at the same time. The way she stacked her vocals on there, the bridge, that record is just, and it was platinum, mind you. This was in the era of Janet being blacklisted on the radio and on Viacom, CBS, like all that stuff and the fines. And, you know, this was during that era that people behind the scenes were really trying to take Janet down. So for this record to still go platinum, an R&B ballad, enough said.
Next song.
One rule, no rules. One love, Free Zone. Now, Free Zone is a very special record. I picked this record because it's such a powerful record. Probably one of the most powerful records in Janet Jackson's discography. It talks about embracing yourself and loving people for who they are. It took me a while to really appreciate this record because essentially it's not much of Janet singing. This is more, this record is more of like a triumphant record. The fusion of funk, jazz, I believe there's a James Brown sample in there, the Let's Get Free chant of liberation. This record really gave a voice to the voiceless. I'm not saying that the LGBTQ plus community did not have a voice. It just was definitely stifled, especially in the Black community, which makes this record so much more important, is because Janet, as a Black woman, made a Black album. Black people love the Velvet Rope album. You ask Black people what's their favorite, first of all, you ask Black people what their favorite Janet Jackson song is, I Get Lonely is probably in the top 3, honestly. And that's off of this album. Like, the Velvet Rope was unapologetically about a Black woman and just her experiences, right? So for her to have records giving a voice to the LGBTQ plus community, to the Black community in the 90s, like, come on now. Listen, I'm about to do this video talking about Janet Jackson in the 2020 I'm expecting, because you telling me, okay, I'm gonna give you a little bit of now, but you're telling me, Janet, I know we just went through a pandemic, right? But you look like you was in full Black Diamond mode. And you telling me from January of 2020 to January of 2022, February of 2022, you couldn't have gave us one song? One song. I don't care what it was about. You just couldn't have gave us one, but we gonna... Unbreakable is Janet's last album, right? There's a record on there called Don't Get Me Started. After You Fall is a record from the Unbreakable album. It is a ballad. It's a piano ballad. This is the most stripped down I've ever heard Janet Jackson. And yes, including the sexual records. This is Janet Jackson at her rawest. Just a piano and her vocals. And when I tell you, when you listen to this song, whew, the lyrical content, she's basically talking about being hurt and being resilient, but also acknowledging that you're hurt, you're depressed, you want to be alone, you feel best when you're alone. Everybody feels that at some point. And it's also very weird for Janet to sing about this because she's never alone. I don't think Janet's really ever been alone. She's always had a bodyguard or, you know, some type of people around her because she's been this big, huge pop star. So feeling like you want to be alone and literally, physically not being able to, it's crazy. You can hear the maturity in her vocals. Like when I was going through Janet's catalog and then I got to After You Fall, I was like, yeah, this sounds like a woman that has lived. There's a breakdown around the 3-minute mark where it's like, doo, doo, ding, ding. You gotta hear it. You gotta hear it for yourself. You gotta hear it for yourself. But it just takes you somewhere. The Unbreakable era was such an iconic era because one, Janet was independent. She went #1 selling 6 figures first week. No label. That album is top 3 best Janet albums in her entire catalog. It's just, it gives you everything that Janet Jackson is known for. And I'm so glad that she talked about political issues on this album. That's why I'm looking forward to the Black Diamond album. Stay tuned for my video about Janet Jackson, my 2020 year that I expect her. It's gonna be like a wishful thinking year. I'm curious to hear what she has to say about the things that we've been going through in these last couple of years. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this playlist. Check out the other artists. I have so many artists, from independent artists from Atlanta to international artists. Let me know what y'all think. If y'all found a new favorite artist, new favorite song, what did y'all think about the documentary for Janet Jackson? Gotta stay tuned. Go ahead and subscribe so you can know when I drop that video. That's gonna be coming within the next couple of days. And yeah, let's celebrate Janet Jackson, the queen, the empress herself. Thank you all so much. And my name is Rick the Prince. You just watched Surface Town. We'll see y'all next time.